Hi, I'm Janet Woodcock, and I'm the Director of the Center for Drug Evaluation and Research at FDA. And I'm really glad to be able to talk to you about NORD and about some of the efforts they're working on natural history registries for rare disorders. And why is this important? Well, as you know, there's so many rare diseases, and it's hard for them to compete for investment in new treatments against the big diseases where there's going to be a much larger market. And one of the ways we can really help with that is to have a clear path for drug developers to get onto the market. And to do that, you have to understand the disease and understand how it progresses and what the symptoms are and how they might be measured and how many people there are and how willing they might be to be in a clinical trial or clinical trials to study a new intervention. And so all of these things are very important for drug development. And of course, on the other side, it's important for people with rare disorders to get together. Your doctor may never have seen a patient with your disorder or disease, and they may not know all the nuances, but other patients will. We have found in our patient-focused drug development meetings, for example, that people with chronic diseases are really the expert in their disease. They may not know all the medical jargon and all the laboratory terms and so forth, but they really have lived that disease and they really have expertise to contribute. And so another use of registries is if we can get people with the same disorder or disease together and they can communicate, we can learn a lot more in a shorter period of time. So FDA has collaborated with NORD over the years to help them with their registry program. And this program provides the infrastructure and IT tools, basically, to set up registries for different diseases. And these registries often collect what you call natural history information, not just about who has the disease and where they live and so forth, but what their symptoms are, how they feel, and how everything progresses over time. Also, it's useful to find out what treatments have they tried and what has worked for them and hasn't worked, and what the burden of treatment, in other words, the side effects and other problems with treatment are. So NORD has set up a number of these. They've had a very good success with setting up natural history registries within their IT program that they have. And we'd really encourage people to participate in these registries. Not only can they help us understand the progression of disease over time and how people are feeling with the disease, it can actually help us identify people who might be willing to enroll in clinical trials. And companies often should consult patients with the disease when they're planning clinical trials. Why should they do this? Well, the patients know what is feasible to do in a clinical trial and what might be too much for them or what might not work. If patients aren't consulted in a good part of that process, often we'll have clinical trials with a lot of dropouts because people will find they can't participate. So there are really many good things that can come out of having a patient registry, of having patients robustly participate, of having them share information with themselves, their caregivers, clinicians about their disease, what other people are experiencing, and then to have what we call these natural history studies within the registry whereby information is collected on the disease and how different parts of it progress over time or stabilize, or on the treatments and other type of information such as that. That can be used then to help design a clinical trial or attract other treatments into the field of that particular rare disease. So we're not going to conquer rare diseases just by funding research. Research, basic science research, is very important and it needs to continue to be funded and be sustained. However, we have to have all this translational effort. In other words, take it from the laboratory and try to figure out whether it works in people and is beneficial overall. And that requires a lot of other kinds of input. And the natural history studies can provide a tremendous amount of help in that area. In addition, the benefits such as being able to locate patients with the disease or at a certain stage of the disease and so forth, and ability of patients to help participate in designing the clinical trials and perhaps recruitment into those trials, these things cannot be overestimated. It's really can be a game changer in getting development of new interventions for a given rare disorder. So I hope you all are able to participate. I urge people to both think about opening up a rare disease, a natural history study in your rare disease, to continue and encourage participation for the existing registries, and then to take it to another level and really get involvement of device or pharmaceutical or other companies in new interventions, so that at the end of the day, sometime, we'll have satisfactory treatments for every one of these rare diseases. Thanks very much.